everyone, it's James Hamill here, CEO of Quoris 3D. Quoris 3D, as we get ready for launch, is a brand new website portal allowing access for 3D printing to dentists and technicians in an easiest manner as possible as we can manage. And with us today we have Mr. Mark McGowan. Mark is our chief 3D printing technician and master of all things 3D printing. So I thought we would use the opportunity to introduce Mark to you and what he is going to be doing in the background. Mark, welcome to Quoris 3D. It's very good to have you. Could you tell everybody a little bit about your history in 3D printing and how you got started?
Sure, no problem. I went back to college after, in my early 40s, and I would have been working on getting qualifications for what I've been doing for 25 years, which was cabinet maker joiner. So I was in doing advanced wood technology, and I would have seen 3D printers in the college, but I have also had experience with 5-axis and 4-axis CNC machines in the joinery industry. And between seeing the machines, having the machines and seeing the 3D printers working, and a friend of mine, Brendan O'Reilly, who is now my business partner, he suggested that maybe we should look further into the 3D printing industry, and as I found it quite fascinating. And so we did. So we bought a little kit of a printer to put together, which we assembled ourselves over a 2-year period, which was a resin printer, and kind of it took off from there. So we would have went from there then to the more reputable makes, or the more well-known, like Formlabs, Ultimaker, Rays, even the cheap and basic machines like the Prusa, the CR10, because at the end of the day, they're all only X, Y, and Z. They all do the same thing at with varying quality, but they all have the same end goal, to create a part. It's all additive manufacturing.
And how long ago then did you start the physical 3D printing? So how long are you based here?
Based here, we're probably going approximately 2.5 years, but the printing has started from, say, 2013.
Yeah.
Because once you start, you tinker, you test.
Yes.
So my files and my written paperwork for all of the printing and all of the understanding and learning goes right back to 2012.
Yes,
so
okay.
You could say I'm at it 6 to 7 years now, and it's pretty much the last 5 years. It's been pretty much
full time. Yeah. And have you seen a big progression in the technology over that time?
The software base, absolutely, but the printers in themselves, we have 2 types of printers that I deal with: FDM and CLA, resin-based. The FDM printers, no, the technology hasn't really moved on because it doesn't need to. X, Y, and Z, they're just laying down plastic. The SLA printers, it has moved on, and it's moving on extremely quickly. Originally, the resin printers would have just been draw a pattern or flash an image onto a plate, lift the image, lift the plate, drop it, do the same thing again. But these days, the trays are being made so that they can shift and twist to leave less surface forces, and they're now using oxygen in some of the trays to make the printing process easier and more stable.
Which is what we're hearing in the background.
Is that what you're hearing in the background? Yeah. Which is the new Vision Tech 1.
Yeah.
So, which at this minute, as in practice, it's probably the fastest printer there is online, and for what it does, it's going to be pretty hard to beat.
Yeah. So obviously you've worked in different industries in 3D printing. You've done pharmaceutical stuff. You've done mechanical engineering type stuff.
I've done print design for architectural work, structural testing, testing of materials, even for 3D printing manufacturing companies like Colorfab or 3D for Makers. I'd be one of their suppliers to test the materials.
Yes.
So yeah, I've been across the broad spectrum.
What's interesting for me is your technical background is so good, and as we move into dentistry, what do you see, as well as the printers have also improved and speed and things becoming more economical, where do you see printing sitting within dentistry as it moves forward? Where are the advantages for dentists and technicians to use that technology?
Well, I think initially it's going to be speed and cost and turnaround time, and then if you add that to the likes of Quoris And that, to the likes of Quoris, it leaves dentists, whoever use the facility, that they're going to get a very stable product of a high quality. But more important than the high quality, it's going to be a generic quality. So the quality you see day one is the quality you're going to get day 154, and the turnaround time will be extremely quick, and it'll be extremely cost effective because of that.
Yeah. And I suppose doing it online makes that simpler again.
Makes it a lot easier.
Now, with 3D printing, and you and I have discussed this many times, companies are saying this wonderful famous phrase, plug and play.
Yeah.
Which is where they'll sell you a printer, plug it in, and away you go. Now, we know that that's not as simple and as straightforward as that is, as they make it out to be. And there are a lot of dentists and technicians who are out there thinking about 3D technology at the minute, and whether they buy a printer or whether they don't buy a printer. What, with your experience in different industries and using all different types of printers, what are the key elements in terms of somebody thinking about it that makes it work? And do you think ultimately that it's something that dentists should be bringing into their own practice?
Okay, to answer the last question first, should they be bringing 3D printing, not a printer, into their own practice? That's a given. That answer doesn't. It's a given. Okay.
Yeah.
Should they bring the 3D printer into their office? If they have 50 or 60 dentists and they're willing to pay people to look after the printer with big knowledge, maybe.
Yeah.
But in the real world, no. Let's compare the new 3D printer to a brand new car.
Yes.
You take a brand new car out and they say it does everything, which it does until it breaks down.
Yes.
And then you can't fix the car. Well, unfortunately, with the 3D printers, because of what they are, you can't fix it, and most of the people in Ireland can't fix it.
Yes.
And then it has to be sent away, and all of a sudden you'll do without it. Because we have such knowledge here now at this stage, and we have our own nest of printers, so it doesn't matter if we have one down. We will always have printers working.
Yes.
We can keep the reliability at 100%.
Yeah. Because I think it's such a technically difficult thing to get right. The temperature of the resin, the mix of the resin, the technology, the interface of the software, all has to work right.
It all has to work. The curing of the resin.
Yeah.
Some of them require curing for short periods of time. Some require for long. Some require light flashing, and then for different parts of the world, some of these print companies have put out. They say that the resin requires 32 degrees, so the viscosity is correct, and that it will work fine. But then you bring it into, it's designed in America, and then you bring it into Europe, into a colder country, and you bring the room up to say 23 degrees, so the resin will be 32 degrees. But the humidity in the room isn't the same, so the resin will act differently. The resin will act differently, so it's not generic.
So there's all these little bits.
And then
when they get in the end result.
To get in the end result, and the software is the same.
Yeah.
Software is the same. The software is extremely complex now, and every time there's new resin brought out, the software needs to be updated. And in a small business, that's just not possible. Realistically speaking, I spend maybe 4 to 6 hours a week updating all the software.
Yeah. And as a dentist, realistically, going to be able to
exactly. And and I think another thing that they need to look at too is resins have an expiry date. So if you have a small business and you want to do 1 or 2 stints every month, the resin at the cost of it, the resin only lasts 6 to 9 months. So really and truly, you'll be throwing an awful lot of stuff away. Yeah. Cost effectiveness for a small dentistry doesn't work.
So send it to the experts.
Just send it to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Thank you very much,
No
Mark.
problem at all.
Thank you for your insight.
No bother.
That's us. Keep an eye out for the official launch as we go forward in September. We'll have a few more videos to pop your way. We hope you watch them and enjoy them and find them informative. Thank you.